Well, good morning and welcome back. I'm joined by Dr. Blair Davison of St. Pat's for another edition of Morning Rounds. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course, and 'tis the season. We are talking about summer safety, specifically adult summer safety. So a lot of us like to spend time near the water during the summer. Talk about some tips to keep us all safe and alive during the summer.
Because summer is great and we've had a long winter, and so we're all excited to be out of doors. And there are lots of things that are great, you know, celebrations, but there are a lot of times we get exposed to things because we are really using a lot of motorized vehicles and fun crafts, and then we're also out of doors and there are a lot of natural, unpredictable circumstances. So, for instance, water. We are so lucky here in Montana to have so much beautiful water, right? Lakes and rivers.
Oh, yeah.
But the number one thing to remember about water safety for adults is that water activities and alcohol don't mix. Not safe. And so particularly in terms of boating or floating or things like stand-up paddle boards, you know, you do not want to be intoxicated and you don't want to be with others who are intoxicated. So that's number one. Then the other thing is really you want to know how to swim.
Right.
And there are a lot of adults who love the water but don't know how to swim. And it's never too late to learn how to swim. It's a great family activity for everybody to brush up on their swimming skills. But never swim alone. So always make sure that you're with someone else. And then if you are on an open body of water, especially doing something like boating or kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding, you want to have the appropriate life jacket. You want to have the appropriate personal flotation device, and you don't want to have it way back in the canoe. You want to have it on, particularly for rafting, things like that. Then, particularly with water and adults, don't dive or jump into unfamiliar water. You don't know what's down there. You don't know how deep it is. That can be a setup for really life-altering or life-ending injury. And because we do have so many great rivers and they're running pretty fast right now, remember that if you get caught in a current, try and stay calm and try and go with it. Don't resist it. Try and just get yourself as close to shore as possible.
And of course, here in Montana, we have lots of storms in the summertime, whether it's thunderstorms, even just dry lightning.
Yeah.
So what, as far as that goes, should we be aware of to avoid lightning and being out in the elements in the summertime?
Exactly. So lightning is a big problem, and just remember this: when thunder roars, go indoors, because there's the 30-second. If you can count to 30 between the thunderclaps, you are probably okay if it's greater than 30, but if it's under 30, you need to get yourself indoors. And then remember that you can still get struck by lightning indoors. So you don't want to be on concrete floors or walls because the lightning can travel through. You also don't want to be using a corded phone. You don't want to be in the bathtub or the shower. These are things that my mom used to say to me that I was like, oh, come on. But it's actually absolutely right. Lightning and electricity can travel through plumbing. The other really important thing is if you are outdoors, people think, oh, I'll get under a tree. Don't do that. Nor do you want to be totally lying prone because that's more surface area to get struck. What you want to do is you want to get to an appropriate shelter.
Okay.
And actually cars are good shelter, not because of the rubber tires, but because they're metal and they will protect you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as we get closer to the 4th of July, we're going to see those fireworks stands out. Everyone loves a good fireworks show.
Oh, yeah.
But you need to be careful.
Oh, for sure. So fireworks, you know, they are a lot of fun, but they are the cause of lots of injury, lots of ER visits. And particularly, even innocuous, fun things like sparklers. Sparklers burn at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So burns you need to be careful of. And again, this is a place where alcohol doesn't mix well with fireworks. So don't use them if you're impaired. Don't let your friends use them if they're impaired. Wear protective eyewear. Light one at a time. this is going to sound pretty straightforward, but don't light them indoors. And don't relight them. If you get a bad one, this is really interesting, I learned something. If you get a bad one and you light it and it doesn't go off, don't relight it. You actually want to submerge it in water and leave it there for 20 minutes and then dispose of it. And so that's a great cue to also remember to have water nearby when you're using fireworks.
All right, well, thanks for some of those tips here on Morning Rounds. If you have any questions you'd like us to answer, you can email them right to us, morningrounds@kpax.com.